A lot can happen in a year when you're the world's largest hot or not clone. Here's everything toxic that Meta did in 2024. In January, we discovered that each Facebook user is being monitored by thousands of companies. Also, your phone is monitored by thousands of companies. And the sky is blue. Next, we discovered teens using social media are vulnerable to depressive symptoms, and some platforms are more likely to give higher levels of depression than others, including TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Firstly, thanks very much for watching. I sincerely hope you cheer up soon. And secondly, I can't believe a platform that thrives on letting people share the best moments of their lives is making teenagers sad because their lives aren't as cool. But in good news, Facebook and Instagram will hide more harmful content from teenagers. They won't remove it, but they will age-gate it, which is like taking 2 steps forward and then a giant leap backward, especially when you discover that their definition of harmful content is anything related to mental health, including articles on where to get support.
I'm Ron Burgundy. You stay classy, San Diego.
And go fuck yourself, Meta. In unrelated news, Meta's own documents showed 100,000 children are sexually harassed every day on its platforms. When asked what they were specifically doing to combat the child grooming problem, a Meta representative said somewhere between 0 and negligible. I wish that was a joke. Now look, I don't want to point fingers, so I'm going to use my elbow. This is your fault. Delete your Facebook account because that's the only way they'll listen. And finally, Facebook launched their link history feature. Like a teenager going through puberty, it's turned on by default, and the tool will track any links you click either from your friends or on Facebook ads to improve the ads you'll see in the future. The only way you'll improve the ads I see in the future is if I see none. In February, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube were all sued by New York City for the alleged harm their apps have done to kids' mental health. That word alleged is doing more heavy lifting than Arnie did in the 70s. Now the next 10 seconds of this video is boring, so I'm going to split screen it with some stock gameplay footage to try and keep your attention. The lawsuit alleges that pretty much all major social networks knowingly designed, developed, produced, operated, promoted, distributed, and marketed their platforms to attract, capture, and create addicts out of the youth with minimal parent oversight. And they say Congress is 30 years behind on these things. Then in, okay, I guess you did something good news, Instagram and Facebook deleted the accounts of Iran's supreme leader. I was wondering where his updates went. Next, Meta said it will start detecting and labeling AI-generated images from other companies using AI, which is a bit like trying to find a needle in a haystack by adding more hay. To be fair, Meta was really good at stomping out the AI bots on Instagram, so I'm sure this will be a great success. To round off the month, Facebook turned 20, and the crowd went mild. In March, Meta was accused of a massive illegal data collection operation by European consumer rights groups. In other news, European investigators have discovered Meta's business model. Meta then said it would delete all Oculus accounts at the end of the month. The only way to save your in-app purchases, store credits, and high score on Fruit Ninja VR is to migrate your account to a Meta one. Why doesn't Meta just move everybody over? Well, me in a hat, they need/want you to accept their revised terms and conditions, and by making you create a new account, you are technically giving them explicit consent. Although I'd argue it's not really consent when the two options are lose all of your data and your games that you've paid for and then have an unusable $500 doorstep, or waste an hour of your life moving all your data and your games over to another device and not actually read the terms of service there either. It's consent in the same way that Dr. Dre is a doctor. Alright, I'll play fantasy if you like, but as soon as I actually need a kidney removed, you're not going to be my first port of call. Does that analogy work? I don't think it worked. Then the United States House of Representatives voted in favor of a bill to ban TikTok, citing their worries that American data could end up in the hands of the CCP, and there's misinformation circulating on the app. So Meta said, hold my beer, and announced it would be killing off its misinformation tool in August, just in time for the UK and US elections, so that'll be fun for us. But don't worry, because the lawmakers, who incidentally have a ton of shares in Meta, will probably make them reverse this, maybe. Then Trump U-turned faster than my 15-year-old self playing GTA 2 by saying the TikTok ban would empower Meta and called Facebook the enemy of the people after meeting with TikTok investors. I didn't have half agree with the Donald on my 2024 bingo card, and yet here we are. And finally, Zuckerberg told Facebook executives to figure out how to track encrypted data on rival apps, including Snapchat and YouTube, in a scheme called Project Ghostbusters. In the same way you can't make an omelette without breaking some eggs, You can't build a $1 trillion company without breaking some laws. And in unrelated news, Zuckerberg took down Facebook Watch, their attempt at a streaming service, and then sold your private messages to Netflix in exchange for more ad spend. I guess if you can't beat them, sell more ad space to them? In April, Meta's chief AI officer said smartphones will become obsolete and replaced by AR glasses in the next 10 years. And in unrelated news, Meta's Reality Lab lost $3.85 billion in the first quarter of this year. And for the record, I'm not saying he's wrong. I could see VR in my future. I just couldn't see a VR headset that mines my biometric data off my face straight into Zuckerberg's pocket in my future. I mean, if Apple, whose business model is not selling my data, so instead charge me more upfront for the headset, can't sell headsets, I think 10 years is being ambitious. But hey, on the plus side, if it does take 20 years, this guy has got a job for life. Then, in about goddamn time news, a lawsuit was launched that argued Meta should be required by law to let you control your own newsfeed. In short, Ethan Zuckerman is trying to argue that if Facebook and Instagram want to hide behind Section 230, okay, Section 230 is basically where a social media site is pretending that they are a platform and not a publisher, because a publisher has to take responsibility for everything that is published on their site, even if we do it. A platform does not. Anyway, if they want to pretend that they are a platform, we should get to control our own feeds, because only publishers get to curate timelines. Frankly, I'm looking forward to Marvel making a film out of this in a few years' time. Zuckerberg versus Zuckerman. Interestingly, and I'm aware I'm using that word quite liberally, Ethan Zuckerman is considered the inventor of the pop-up advert. So it's very much David versus Goliath. Speaking of controlling our feeds, Meta and Google were accused of restricting reproductive health information by classifying certain keywords into ones that broke their community guidelines. Two tech monopolies aren't pro-choice. Who knew? AI tools were then rolled out into Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, and Messenger, and you can't turn them off. Well, you can, but you just have to not use their products. But above all, the worst thing they did in April was capitalizing the O in online in WhatsApp. You fucking monsters. In May, we discovered that extreme militias are coordinating in more than 100 Facebook groups. I am Jack's complete lack of surprise. Meta then changed their terms of service so they can use your Instagram and Facebook photos to train its AI models. You know what? I actually feel really sorry for the AI models. In brighter news, deactivating Facebook for just a few weeks reduces your belief in fake news. But don't celebrate too soon, because Zuckerberg is still allowing political ads, because money. And finally, Facebook said it would shut down its only useful tool, Workplace. I guess one product down, 6 more to go? In June, Facebook gave you more reasons not to upload photos of your kids to their platforms, when Meta confirmed it will be using your content to train its AI. Oh, and you can't opt out, but the EU's computer says no. I give it 6 months before we hear that Facebook accidentally used the wrong dataset to train its AI. In related news, photographers are claiming that Meta's AI is flagging their photos as AI images. So the training's going well then. Next, a Meta engineer was told to resign after calling out their sexist hiring practices. And in Zuckerberg's defense, his AI recruitment tool might have just misgendered all the more qualified candidates. So it's not technically his fault, it's ours, because it's our data they're trained on. To round off the month, Instagram confirmed they were testing unskippable ads, and I confirmed testing deleting their app. In July, Meta said they would reinstate Trump's Facebook and Instagram accounts, just after Donald said he would throw Zuck in jail if he became president, which is a weird way to suck up. Then The Guardian released blank Facebook and Instagram accounts and timed how long it took the algorithm to show sexist or misogynist content. Spoiler, it was fast. In other news, eating McDonald's every day will make you fat. The sky is blue, and Hitler wasn't the worst painter. Finally, we found out that unpaid moderators are keeping online communities safe. Their job is to filter shitposts and negative content on the daily. Now, in good news, this has become a real paying job, but in bad news, for the few people who have been employed, they're known as ghost workers, and their job is making them want to unalive themselves. But in good news, if you're Logan Paul, I guess this is nice content for your channel? In August, Congress asked Zuckerberg to explain why drug dealers are advertising on Facebook and Instagram. Oh, it's a tricky one. I think I'm gonna guess money. Next, Instagram ignored 93% of abusive comments towards female politicians. The only surprising thing about this percentage is it's not 100. Then Meta took down WhatsApp accounts connected to Iranian hackers targeting the US election. In an official statement, Zuckerberg said, if you want to interfere with an election, you can buy an ad just like everyone else. And finally, in what might be the most interesting news story of the year, Zuckerberg claims the White House pressured Meta to hide and boost certain COVID-19 articles, proving, as if you needed any more proof, that you can't trust the owners of these platforms or your government. In September, one of Facebook's advertising partners admitted to listening in on smartphone microphones to serve better ads, which is a little suspicious given that Meta has said that feature doesn't even exist. But on the off chance they are listening, stop showing me adverts for cat beds. I hate cats, cats suck, I don't even have a cat. Then we discovered that Facebook is blocking emergency warning updates as wildfires rage across California. Now, Meta are completely wrong to do this, but with all due respect, who the fuck is depending on an advertising platform during a life or death situation? On the theme of blocking stuff, Meta blocked links to the hacked JD Vance dossier because it's from Iran and so counts as election interference. Because famously, Zuckerberg really gives a shit about how much his companies impact elections. And that brings us on neatly to the fine of the month. Meta was fined over $100 million after it was discovered that 600 million Facebook and Instagram passwords had been stored in a plain text file. That works out about 17 cents a password. Where's my money, Zuckerberg? Where's my money? And finally, Facebook admitted to scraping all of their Australian users' public posts and photos to train their AI algorithm. Oh, and there's no opt-out option. Given the kind of crap people upload to that site, I feel sorry for the AI algorithm. In October, we learned that Facebook took more than $1 million in ads that showed election lies. The only thing that surprises me about this headline is that it's only $1 million, and also X will let you do it for free. Then Zuckerberg said the quiet part loudly by proclaiming that a lot more AI-generated content is coming to fill your Facebook and Instagram feeds. So his social network will largely comprise of content made by robots. Cool. Next, we discovered that a number of twats are staging fake animal rescues for social media views and donations. Essentially, we live in an attention commodity, so whatever gets attention gets made, for better or for worse. But if it is you doing this, go fuck yourself. And finally, Meta fired staff for buying toothpaste with their lunch budgets. TLDR, Meta give their staff meal vouchers for breakfast, lunch and dinner, but some staff needed toothpaste or washing powder more than a takeaway, so Zuckerberg fired them for not spending the money the way he told them to. It's moments like this I'm glad they had to abandon their plans for a company town. In November, Meta faced a $2.8 million lawsuit in Japan over fake adverts, to which Zuckerberg said, that seems fair. Have you got change for $1 billion? Then we discovered 3 in 4 Facebook shares are by people who haven't read the story. Again, the most shocking part of this statistic is that it wasn't 100%. In the lead up to the election, a pro-Trump Facebook group funded by Elon quietly placed deceptive adverts that misrepresented the Democrats' positions. Hands up who isn't shocked? This is an interesting way for Elon and Trump to get around Zuckerberg's ban on election advertising. The only saving grace here is that Elon is pissing off everyone in Trump's inner circle. That relationship is a ticking time bomb, and I've got 50 quid that says it doesn't outlast a lettuce. In December, we learned that Meta plans to build its own subsea cable network to connect America to South Africa, India, Australia, and the Pacific region. Crucially, the company says they want to avoid areas of geographical tension, so they're going to avoid Earth? That's ambitious. An Australian inquiry found that Amazon, Google, and Meta are, quote, pillaging culture, data, and creativity to train their AI. That's also a direct quote from their shareholder meeting. Then a UN report discovered that social media influencers don't verify information before sharing it. Just wait till they learn that a good chunk of them are being paid to share incorrect information. They're gonna lose their shit. And finally, Blue Sky is on the verge of taking over Threads in all the ways that matter. Less political content, feeds I'm actually interested in, and not giving my data to Meta. I can't work out why people are ditching Zuckerberg and Elon's apps for decentralized options. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed that. If you'd like to watch everything toxic that Google and Amazon did this year, the links are currently on the screen. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you all in 2025. Godspeed.